Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it, and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. Right, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising. These eclipses are happening in your second and eighth house. This reveals financial truths and brings deep emotional purging. And it is a time to strengthen your bonds, your closest bonds, anyways, and to let go of control, because it is the house of death and rebirth and transformation. It is the house of taxes, insurance, intimacy, debt, joint resources. It's the house of loans. It's losses or sudden gains. This eclipse could bring a sudden it is such a blessed eclipse, as I said earlier in the video. So I'm leaning more that it's going to bring you a sudden windfall and a gain and it liberates you spiritually. It's a moksha house. It's a transformative house, some sort of lower density fear, attachment issue around money or relationships, or some sort of deep psychological problem or issue or fear that sort of is an undercurrent in your life, because the eighth house is the house of the hidden. It's what we don't really show on the outside. It rules the part of the body that's in the underwear. It's the Scorpio house. So it's hidden. So people don't know our money and our taxes and our joint resources, and it's also the house of the occult, which actually means simply hidden. It's the unseen things that are going on that it usually happens. It's usually the underworld. It's the dark stuff we don't want to look at. So the eighth house eclipse brings up some sort of information that we don't want to look at. And it could be very upsetting. You could discover your spouse is cheating on you. You could discover your spouse has a big debt that they didn't tell you about. You could discover that you have a tax lien in your bank account, or that they're going to take money out of your tax, and it scares you because it's going to scare if you have a lot of fear in your eighth house and you have a lot of attachment to your money, these eclipses are trying to shake you out of that attachment so you can make more money, so you can elevate up, you can resonate high and not be on this sort of attachment energy. And then it allows the flow of income happening because you're going to have the big eclipse coming at the end of the month on the 21st, which I'm going to talk about in your second house. So that's going to be some new income. So you're clearing some sort of fear, deep. It's a Pisces eclipse. Now remember, this is on the I I should share the chart. I get so into it that I forget to share the chart. So let me get to that here. The These eclipses rattle our nerves, they can really rattle your nerves around finances, and but you have this transformative experience and you're spiritually it's a spiritually liberating house where you become set free from some sort of deep undercurrent that's dropping your vibrations and stopping you from resonating at a higher frequency. That new moon at the end of the month, uh, solar eclipse wants to bring and initiate in your life some really abundant way of making money because Jupiter is blessing this Pisces eclipse, but it is also angling very positively to the nodes. So both eclipses are going to be very abundant, but they also take things away and release. You got the South Node in your second house, so you're going to be releasing old ways of making money that are just busy. Now, Virgo's a skill, second house is sort of creative and making things with your hands as well, and it's artistic. It's a Taurus house ruled by Venus. So you could have a old job that, you had to probably work very, very hard at, perhaps, that's very stressful, that took up all your time, and that is going to be let go of because something opens up for you on this Pisces eclipse. Some sort of debt gets relieved, some sort of income comes in from some unexpected source, and an inheritance comes in. You qualify for a loan. You suddenly discover you have you qualify for a loan. But again, you could end a relationship. There could be drama in a relationship. The eighth house is about drama. So some sort of drama could occur in your relationship that finalizes and ends it. Is a house of addiction. You could find yourself meeting your limit in some sort of escapist way of not feeling this or not facing something in your life. You then have to face it. So that comes with some sort of crisis or trauma. But again, you feel liberated from it because you discover these fears weren't really rational. They didn't, once you get over that fear, you don't manifest this. So, yep, there's a rebirth. You become liberated and a burden and fear is lifted. You're reborn. I'm just going over my notes. I always have to make sure I don't leave anything out. So that is basically the first eclipse. It's about facing a fear, and your life you'll be able to face this fear from now on. Like if you have a fear of your debt or a fear of, and your debt's collecting, you consolidate, you qualify for consolidation loan, and you now really aren't afraid of debt anymore, and you really watch your money better, and you face it, and you don't just spend and ignore the truth kind of a thing. So you'll be able to face this fear. And also you could have a fear of intimacy. This is the house of intimacy and sexuality. So you could suddenly start to have a physically intimate relationship on this eclipse that then also brings joint resources. That's another way that this eclipse can play out. And you let go of an old way of making money with that South Node in the second house, and you now with that second eclipse, which I'm about to talk about, we'll get into. But basically, this first eclipse is going to rattle you. It's going to liberate you from a deep subconscious fear that you don't want to face. It's some sort of dirt, like you're afraid of intimacy. It could be that you have some sort of fear of somebody getting to know you because you think once they know you, they won't like you. And then you discover you're very likable when that happens. You're vulnerable and, you take a wall down and allow somebody in. That can happen on this eclipse. It's transformative for you and liberating, very liberating. So in that sense that you face this fear, it shows up, it could shake you to the core, because I've had eighth house eclipses scare me in some of my deepest core issues. And then the eclipse, that fear thing happened and it freaked me out. But then the eclipse brought a solution, and it made me let go of that fear, because the eclipse in your eighth house is going to be more of an energetic eclipse, which shows you, because this is what's going to happen in the new moon in the second eclipse, which actually let's just jump to right now. Why don't I go to that right now? Because the second eclipse in the end of that second house is you realizing that that where did I put my notes? Um, where did I put this? Oh yeah. So basically you in this second eclipse, which is on the 21st of September, I gotta slow down. You're gonna see that this is the house also of what you truly value. You're gonna reevaluate what really matters to you, what you value. And you're going to discover that your self-worth is the foundation of all other wealth. So that eclipse in your ninth house brings up some deep stuff, psychological wounding and fears that are preventing you from being more abundant or successful in a relationship that you face. It could bring a crisis. It could bring some sort of truth that is upsetting, but you then become more face on to this issue, whatever it is from now on. And then you see that the source of this is low self-worth, which plays out in your second house, because a wealth, this is the foundation of, uh, self-worth is the foundation of all wealth. So that's what these eclipses are doing. They're trying to help you see your value more and step into, clear that subconscious fears that you have that are blocking you from, in that eighth house, that are blocking you from resonating higher, attracting more abundance, because you have a deep-seated unresolved fear and attachment to finances and debt. And so you're causing debt out of that without consciously knowing how to handle that. There's this fear about it. So you just sort of turn your back on it. But then with that new moon, but you're going to face that, that's going to go away. You're going to transform that into being very, very responsible, looking at your money, counting your pennies, I don't mean that in a negative way, but like organizing yourself, facing whatever this is, organizing your finances better. That's that new moon in the second house, right? So let's get to that next eclipse here on the 21st. And that's going to happen in your second house of finances. And eclipses in your second house, they do change your source of income. The South Node transiting your second house for so long now is releasing an old way of making money, and you're seeking something more in alignment with your depth of something, with depth and meaning in your soul, and you're starting to sort of maybe get more independent and look in some sort of other ways of financing a project, a creative venture. Leos are very creative, so you're sort of flirting with going independent and getting business loans and things like that. So you're really trying to these eclipses are getting you to really get your finances in shape so that you can step into some sort of very powerful dharmic path that these eclipses are trying to align us onto. And so so you're going to clear the slate here for this new beginning that's going to happen on the new eclipse, on the eclipse new moon. I have to slow down. This second eclipse, right, is in your, am I lining it up right? I'm aligning it up right. Okay. So not really. So anyway, so we want Leo in the first. So there's your second house eclipse. And you're going to see a crisis occur perhaps around your finances. You know, other things can be going on in these eclipses, like a relationship could be ending, you're separating your finances, or you're co-collaborating and they're not working, or something happens. I mean, you're definitely shifting your financial reality. And you're shifting to other sources of income so basically an eighth house eclipse, a second house eclipse shakes up your financial plans and has you really assess what you truly value and what truly holds value in your life. And you're paring down, you're clearing the clutter of I was going to say making money in ways that are just busy, but also your time so that you can make more money in ways that do really fill your soul. So you're clearing clutter in that second house. You could actually just be clearing masses of clutter, but basically you're clearing some sort of busyness and a frenetic attachment to making money, and you're sort of letting go of that and trusting the universe. And this second eclipse here on the 21st with Saturn there is definitely trying to stabilize your finances, and so these new beginnings that are going to happen, this big new beginning on this eclipse is really going to stabilize your finances for a long time. So you're really kind of trying to figure out with that north node in your eighth, intuitively liberate yourself from financial entanglements and debts and you know what else, tax problems and things like that, so that you can be free to initiate these new beginnings with a clean slate and take on some sort of big new project that you now you've got your value, you value yourself, and you see a future, because this is long-term committed, permanent new thing, making money, creative way that liberates you, makes you, sets you free from some sort of financial trap. And then you're able to really follow your soul's desires more. But actually, one last thing I do want to quickly look, because we do have Venus and Leo. We have Mercury's going to be going into your second house, and Mars is going to move into your fourth. So you're going to be very, very busy. Uh, Wait, that's on the second eclipse. But for the most month, Mercury's going to be, oh, wait, now let's go to now on here. Let's go. Oops. Let's do this one now, and then let's go back to that eclipse. So Mercury, for most of the month, is going to be in your second house. You're going to be coming up with ideas. Your mind's going to be very sharp, coming up with good ideas on how to earn money. You might go on interviews. You might be getting lots of promotions, and that could also happen. Second house eclipse, you get a promotion or something, but you're definitely very proactive in this house and coming up with ideas, and perhaps actually developing a new skill, working on skills. Also, past life skill can show up on this eclipse. And then Venus being in Virgo, again, just I think we're going to just feel like all focused on this new beginning here, with all these energies with stellium kind of in Virgo. As most of the month goes. So we're very busy, very focused, doing a lot of things, short distance travel, signing contracts, being very practical. This new financial beginning that you initiate, you're going to really organize that. It's very, because that Virgo new moon, you're being very practical. You're really crossing your T's and dotting your I's. All right, Leo, I hope that was informative, and have a wonderful month. And if you would like a personal reading, do check out my website, soullevels.com. There's a booking link, or email me at madelaneparker111@gmail.com. All right, namaste.